Yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. Today we're going to be doing Batman Earth 1. Now, for those of you that know nothing about DC's line of graphic novels under the Earth 1 banner, allow me to enlighten you. The Earth 1 line of graphic novels are basically taking DC characters and reimagining them and retelling them and doing completely different stories with them on a separate world with separate continuity that does not affect the mainstream DC universe. So the material you read in Batman Earth 1 does not affect your reading of Batman every month in the standard Batman issues or in Detective Comics. It is a completely separate character on a completely different world with a completely different atmosphere. It's completely different. It has no connection whatsoever to the mainstream DC universe, at least continuity wise. And so far, there's been two Earth 1 books. There's been Superman Earth 1 and there's been Batman Earth 1, with the announcement of Superman Earth 1 2 coming out soon. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to jump onto Superman Earth 1, mainly because I didn't have money when it came out. Well, I had money, but I didn't have enough. I couldn't splurge on the graphic novel. So I kind of have to wait. And I haven't been able to find it anywhere else, seeing that it's been out for, what, a year or so, and I haven't had the opportunity to pick it up. Maybe I might ask my comic book guy to order it for me. But lucky for me, I get to jump on to Earth 1 with Batman, because we all know how much I love the Bat. But see, there's an interesting thing about Earth 1 Batman. On the team, we have Geoff Johns and Gary Frank, well known for working with each other and also well known for their work apart from each other. Geoff Johns is well known for Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, Superman, the Justice Society. But that's just the thing. Geoff Johns is well known for those characters. He's not really well known for Batman. And there's been kind of a stigma amongst some comic book fans, some, not all, that Geoff Johns doesn't like Batman, that he doesn't care for him at all. Now, whether or not this is the case is debatable. I don't think it's really the case. I don't think Geoff Johns hates any character. I think Geoff Johns likes most characters equally. He has his fan favorites, of course. But Geoff Johns never really wrote Batman outside of a team up or an event comic. Batman alone. I mean, he's been on Justice League, he's been on like Infinite Crisis or stuff along that lines, but we never seen Geoff Johns write Batman alone. So it's going to be interesting to see Geoff Johns take Batman, a character that he's not really well known for, a character that's really never done alone on its own comic, and write it in a universe where he can do almost anything without consequence. He can write Batman however he wants and not have to worry about the mainstream continuity. So this could go one of two ways. It could be absolutely amazing, taking Batman and redefining him and doing a completely different Batman in a completely different universe and just absolutely do stuff that we couldn't do beforehand because of the restraints of continuity. Or it could just stumble and fall, and with too much power comes too much craziness, as we've seen with our good friend Frank Miller. So, will Batman Earth 1 succeed, or will it fail? Just gonna have to wait and see. Let's jump into story. Now, going into Earth 1 Batman, I had kind of this thing in my head on how it was going to work. Because see, when I think of Earth 1, I can't help but think of the multi-universe, and I can't help but think of the golden age of comics. And going into this comic, I was thinking of Batman in a golden age like sense. You know, not being the high-tech super crime fighter hero that he is, with multiple forms of martial arts and degrees in all these different kind of science and mathematics and all that stuff. No, I think of more of a street level crime fighter Batman who has maybe one or two forms of fighting underneath his belt, who doesn't have a Batmobile but has just like a station wagon or some car that he goes into, relies heavily in the field on his allies like Leslie Tompkins or Alfred, and doesn't have any kid sidekicks. It's just him. His costume's very low tech. His tech is very low tech. It's just very much a Golden Age Batman. That's what I think going into this comic. Now, whether or not that's the case, I will talk about when I give my full analysis of the comic. But the one thing that you have to think about going into this comic is, well, see, and I'm going to quote the back, Geoff Johns wants us to think of Batman not as a hero, but just as a man. He's fallible, vulnerable, and angry. See, the main story here is not Batman going off and taking out criminals or fighting some supervillain like Bane or the Joker. No, it's Batman trying to solve the case of his family's murder. This is very much a vengeance or revenge story, whichever word you want to use. Vengeance or revenge, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. But it's really that kind of story. It's him wanting to go out and avenge his mother and father, their death. His life has been consumed by it. And when he's all ready to go, he may find out that things don't necessarily work out the way he wants it to. Um, Batman here, he never traveled the world. He never really left Gotham. He was trained solely by Alfred. He has combat experience, but not the 100+ martial arts underneath his belt in the mainstream continuity. He doesn't know how to do all the parkour stuff that Batman normally does. And like I said, his technology is low tech. In the first scene, we see Batman take out a grapple hook, and the grapple hook completely fail. So again, this is a different kind of Batman, a more grounded Batman, but a Batman with less experience than the mainstream universe's Batman. And like I said, he's very driven to find the murderer of his parents. And all that leads in one direction. Mayor Cobblepot. Yes, the Penguin is the mayor of Gotham. While this is going on, while Batman's story is being told, we have the story of Commissioner Gordon, who isn't a commissioner at this point, and Harvey Bullock working together. Now, in a unique dichotomy, Commissioner Gordon is actually the crooked cop, at least starting off, and Harvey Bullock is the idealistic individual. But the roles could or could not change in the book. And all these stories kind of merge into one, and it all kind of has a huge catalyst, a big climax at Arkham Asylum, or the Arkham House, Arkham Estate. It's not really asylum here, it's more of an estate. So, one, will Batman be able to find out who the true murderer of his parents are? Will he be able to change from a man in a costume to a hero to a legend? Will Commissioner Gordon be able to get his act straight? Will he be able to turn from crooked cop who allows stuff to happen into the hero that he's always been known for? Will Harvey Bullock stay as that idealistic cop, or will he see things that will make him go down a dark path? And Barbara Gordon gets tangled up all in the middle of this. And at the end of it, does she come out as a hero herself? Well, I'm just going to have to read and see. Let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Let's start off with art, because we always start off with art. Gary Frank's art is phenomenal. He does a great job in anything he does. I must admit, how he drew Alfred made me think of Liam Neeson. So whenever I read Alfred, he always sounded like Liam Neeson. But the art is just great, and the design on the bat suit is, it is Batman, but it's different enough that it stands out, and it looks good. I think it looks good for the universe that it's in. It looks really nice. Although my favorite Batman suit is actually the current one, the New 52 Batman suit. But this new Batman suit looks really good, and it has kind of the traditional bat symbol, but towards the end of it, he gets the kind of the Batman ink bat symbol, which is a light, which is really cool. It's a nice design for the costume. And everyone's drawn very well. The only drastic change that we have is Alfred, who looks more like Ra's al Ghul, Liam Neeson. Uh, my particular favorite design is actually the Penguin. He's not portrayed as this big, overweight gangster. He's a mayor. He has a certain suave class to him, but he's still very crooked, and he almost, it's hard to describe, but it has a very Silver slash Golden Age touch to the Penguin. Um, it's just very well done. The art in this is spectacular. Remember earlier when I was talking about well how I wanted this to have kind of a golden age feel, had Batman kind of be very basic. Well, it definitely has that here. Um, if you read any Golden Age with the Batman Chronicle or the Batman Archive series, if you read any of that, then you're definitely going to get that feel here. Batman using the very few tools at his disposal. He doesn't have these batarangs he's throwing around. He has a grapple hook, maybe some thief toolery. That's it. He doesn't have a Batmobile. No, he has Alfred pick him up in the car. And that is just, is a nice simplistic nod to the Golden Age that makes this Batman stand out very nicely. I like the fact that this story was a personal story. It wasn't about him stopping the Joker from poisoning the Gotham River. It's not about him taking on Mr. Freeze, who wants to claim his wife and freeze Gotham. It's not him taking on Bane in an epic fight for the mantle of Bat. No, no, this is Batman kind of on a personal journey, a personal mission to find out who killed his parents. Um, Very touching one, but at the same time, a different one. Because we've seen Batman try to figure out who the murderer of his parents are before, but never has he really done it in a basic level with no supervillains involved. You could say the Penguin, but the Penguin's really not a supervillain. He's just a gangster. And in this, he's actually the mayor. So, again, the story is different. It's personal. It works out that way. The characters are different enough that at times you'll be shocked that they are the characters that they are, but by the end of the comic, you start to see them glow in the light that they do. Without being spoilish, Batman comes off as kind of a hothead in the beginning, but he starts to become Batman towards the end. Commissioner Gordon seems like a crooked cop at the beginning, but we start to see the shades that is Commissioner Gordon and what makes him who he is towards the end. The characters all kind of feel different and different enough that they stand out on their own, but never to the point that they offend us. My particular favorite character in the story, at least going through it, was actually Harvey Bullock. The stuff that happens to him is really quite dramatic and sad, but at the same time, it's well done. You'd be surprised on how much you grow attached to the characters and you like these characters. Like I said, it's a different universe, so these characters can be portrayed differently. The fight scenes are fun. The few that we have here, what I like about them is they're very basic. They feel very natural and feel very real. Kind of rolling around on the ground fighting, or Batman's not able to take on 12 people at once. Again, this Batman has training from Alfred, which is good. He has formal military training. But again, the mainstream Batman has like 100 plus martial arts underneath his belt. Batman can't just go up against 12 people at once. He needs to be smart about it. And it's definitely a learning curve for Batman. Not only in when it comes down to combat or how to fight or how to, parkour from building to building, but how to be the Batman. And I guess the last good that I have to say is that at the end of the story, we definitely get to see Batman get defined. Um, what makes Batman Batman? Is it the murder of his parents? Is it the fact that he gets revenge on the murderer? Or is it the fact that he never finds the murderer? Stuff like that really ties the book together. Bad. Well, this seems like a small bad, but it's a very short book. It's a quick read. You'll go through it very, very quickly. Um, I read it last night around, let's see, 2 o'clock, and I got done with it in such a short amount of time. I guess that could show how good the comic is the fact that it's a quick read, but it's still a quick read nonetheless. And with how much I enjoyed this book, I would have liked more. Um, so that's one bad. Second bad is beforehand I said it's nice that these characters are different, but not too different. Well, I think in the very beginning it's thrown at us too much on how they're different, and it's not very subtle. For example, Bruce comes off as kind of a hothead. And it's not till later that we kind of get comfortable with that. I think it's because in the very early going, it's thrown at us so heavily and so quickly that we're not prepared for that. It's kind of like when Commissioner Gordon is not really a crooked cop, but he lets stuff happen. And there's a reason for it. And we know there's a reason for it, but it's thrown at us very heavy. And it takes some time to adjust. So the character changes, while welcome, are still, I think they were thrown at us a little too heavy in the beginning. Besides that, Batman Earth One was a great read. If I had to give it a ranking, I would give it a 4 out of 5. It was so fun that I'm looking forward to them doing a sequel, and they definitely set up with it with the ending. It was just well done. It was a different kind of Batman with a different kind of universe, and I enjoyed it. I really did, and I'm probably gonna go through and read it again because it was that fun. I do recommend people pick this up, and I recommend it to Batman fans that want to try something a little different. Uh, we have so much Batman going around, from Batman to Detective to Dark Knight to Batman Inc. to Batman and Robin to Justice League International to every single Batman book that spins off, from Nightwing to Batwing to Birds of Prey to Catwoman. But it's interesting to get a Batman so different than this. So I'm interested to see what they do with the next book, and I did enjoy this a lot. So 4 out of 5, definite pickup, and it's not that expensive for a hardcover. It's about $20, so worth getting. That said, I'm going to end this review here. This is Andrew saying, peace out for now.